Hi, Ross. Just touching base with you about your opinion of yesterday and the emotions, the emotions of this game and this series.
Yeah, I think it would be wishful thinking to think that we were just going to come in here and play two games and nothing combative to happen, such as last night. And Joe is a good candidate as anyone to stir something up, even though he wasn't on that 2017 team. You could tell he was as fired up as anyone. Correa was the guy to get out last night. He had a good game, so props to Joe for being able to bear down and throw a good pitch right there and get Correa out. And then the face that he made is one of the funnier things I've ever seen on a baseball field. And then obviously went viral on social media. And now we're all excited because we'll have new shirts to wear for BP and stuff like that. But, tension's running high for sure. But, we know with the protocols around, COVID-19, we're not going to go out there and actually put hands on each other or anything like that because can't afford to have entire teams getting suspended and things like that. So, assuming last night is probably all that it will be, now we'll try and take care of business on the field again with another W tonight and then get out of town.
Is that something that can, not that you guys need any sort of unity with one another, but something that can unite a team? I mean, this isn't even a guy that had a beef with the Astros in 17, yet he's the one sending the message.
Yeah, certainly. That's a good way to put it. I think that can definitely unite a team. We saw the last two games against San Francisco, not a lot of energy, had a chance to win those games late, couldn't pull it off. But then obviously easy to get excited for the two games here. And then for something to happen like last night, definitely can bring a team together now moving forward into a big road trip. I mean, heck, when we get done with this road trip, it'll be a quarter into the season. So a good test on this road trip for sure. So that was a good way to start last night.
For you, Ross, as far as the process of your changeup and the progress of it, how's that played in for you? And will we see more of it in your outing coming up?
Yeah, don't want to tip my hand too much. I've had issues with that in the past, tipping pitches ahead of time for sure. It's certainly when you feel like you add a weapon that's useful to your arsenal, you're definitely going to use it moving forward, especially someone or line up against the Diamondbacks that'll throw out a lot of lefties and a team that I've faced a lot before. Now to have a new weapon and a wrinkle to throw in there, certainly going to try and use it when I can to hitters that, maybe haven't seen it before or whatnot. So definitely keep working on it. Use it in the bullpens that I threw between outings and now, keep rocking it into this next start.
With Clayton on the IL with that back stiffness, hopefully you guys get him back this weekend. And now Alex on the IL with the shoulder inflammation. Any additional pressure on yourself just trying to, keep the rotation going here?
Well, there's always pressure on myself because that job's never guaranteed for me. So when I'm in the rotation and pitching, I always feel like there's a little added pressure to keep that job because that's the role and the job that I want. So, without trying to add more pressure than there already is personally. Certainly we miss those guys. It does sound like Clayton will be back soon, possibly as early as Arizona. So that'll be exciting to get him back out there and just try and do my part as I can until he's out there and kind of the backbone of that rotation again for us.
Finally, for me, Ross, with everything going on with the Marlins situation and COVID, does it change anything in terms of your approach or your outlook on things?
Everything's already so heightened. You're already worried almost to the extreme. So now you just take it up one more level if you can, because you saw how fast it can sweep through a locker room, even with the protocols or precautions that were taken. So now it's, if you were at a 10, now take it to an 11 and just be as cautious as you can, wear the mask, stay 6 feet apart, all the stuff that we're already preaching, just, do it even more if you can. That's just kind of all you can do.
Thank you, Ross.
Thanks, Alanna.
Next question's from Alden Gonzalez. Go ahead, Alden.
Hey, Ross, what has been the weirdest part about traveling so far?
Good question. It's just like I'm in Houston right now. I'm from Houston. I would normally want to go see family and friends. My grandmother's here, and I can't go see them. That's certainly weird. Normally you would have this circled on your calendar months ahead saying, getting tickets for your buddies and all that stuff. And, so that's been a bummer to come to two games here in Houston and not be able to have any of my friends and family in the stands, see them before and after games. After that, it's kind of the stuff at the hotel. Normally get up, go get some coffee, or after the game, maybe go grab a drink with a teammate or even a buddy on another team, whatever it is, you just can't do that now. You basically kind of confined to your hotel room and that's kind of all you can do. So it's definitely weird so far, but we knew that's what it was going to be coming into it. So now that we're here, it's nothing too extraordinary.
Did you think about just staying at your own place when you guys got here, or is that just a no-go under the protocol?
Well, I think I'm allowed to, but I didn't want to be the guy that went about town and messed everything up. My house is fairly close. I could have stayed there for sure, but just for 2 games, 2 nights, with the quick turnaround, I'm also pitching the first day in Arizona tomorrow. So it seemed kind of easier just to leave it alone and just stay in the hotel with the team. I think if you're trying to get tested at home, I think you have to come to the field early and do all these different stuff if you're staying away from the hotel. So I decided just not to mess with it.
And last one for me, is that in terms of seeing friends and family, is that something that you sort of got ahead on? Were you reaching out to people ahead of time saying, look, I can't hang out with you this week? How did that work out?
Yeah. As it was leading up to this trip into Houston, I had, multiple friends, family just asking, even if we could just go to lunch or something like that. And I just had to be no, it's just with the, thing going on with the Marlins and just, COVID in general and Houston kind of being a hotbed for it. It just made sense to just say no, be look, this is only a 2-3 month season. I'll see you soon. But for now, I don't want to risk it. And my friends are understanding of that, family too.
Next question is from Dave Vesta. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Ross.
Hey, Dave.
How'd you get roped into this?
Oh, Juan, he finds us no matter what, just like you do.
Hey, sometimes pitchers that are starting in a different city fly ahead of the team. Is that something that is not going to happen for you? Is that just something pitchers are going to have to wear this year?
Well, we're certainly not going to fly commercial, so that would normally, I would probably have come in, got my work done and, took a Southwest flight to Arizona or something today to get in at a decent hour and get ready for the start tomorrow. You just can't risk that this year. I did think that maybe there would be some talk of me not coming to Houston at all, knowing that I wasn't going to pitch here no matter what, and I could easily just drive to Arizona from Los Angeles and then drive to San Diego or just join the team in general. But that never came up. No coach or front office guy came up to me. I remember, kind of mumbling it with Kershaw and other guys in the rotation. And I think this first road trip, we're just kind of feeling it out, seeing what the protocol is. But yeah, as far as taking a commercial flight ahead of time, that's definitely not going to happen.
Russ, Dustin May's starting tonight. I was curious what has impressed you the most about seeing him on opening night, and can you tell a difference between what he was able to do last year and the maturity during one off season to this?
Yeah, I think so. For one, you can tell how hard he worked. I mean, I feel like he came in 30 pounds stronger, and his first outing of summer camp, he was 99, so you could tell that he worked hard and earned a spot in that rotation. Obviously, you never want to see a guy like Clayton go down, but for Dustin to step in on opening day, man, that is no small feat, and he did it. I don't know if effortlessly is the right word, but, it seemed like he didn't bat an eye and goes in there and pumps strikes. And now gonna, get a good test here in Houston tonight, but he's obviously really good against righties, and I expect him to go out there and compete like he has basically from day one in the big leagues. And his arsenal speaks for itself. When you're throwing 99-mile-an-hour sinkers like that, it's hard to hit no matter who you are. So we've been impressed with him for sure. I have definitely. I love that, and he's a Texas guy here pitching in Texas, so I expect him to be fired up and ready for a good one tonight.
And just one more, where do you watch the games? Where were you last night? Where will you be tonight?
I wanted to go sit in the Crawford boxes, but they're full with fake people. I thought that would be a cool vantage point. I was half in the dugout, half just inside between the locker room, training room, all that kind of stuff. That's been the goofiest part of this whole thing is trying to figure out where to sit and watch the game, because you want to be out there and part of the team, but I think we can only have 17 in the dugout at a time. So when we're hitting, that's way more than 17. So you usually got to find a place. I might meander around the stands a little bit today, maybe go to Torchy's Tacos, see if they're serving anything up.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Hey, Ross. So before the season started, when you guys got summer camp, there was a lot of talk about, what does the World Series this year mean? Does it mean anything less? Obviously, because it's a 60-game season. I'm just wondering, with what's been going on this week with the idea that teams might not play 60 games, now we got word that they might change double headers to maybe 7 innings. things like that. Do you feel like the legitimacy of the season's taking a hit that maybe might not be recoverable?
Well, personally, I do not. I wouldn't argue with someone that would say that there is. You know, when you start talking about, people playing less games, maybe they only get 50 games in, so now it comes down to win percentage over actual record. Talking 7-inning games, things like that. Like, we knew coming into this season that things like that were possible, and most players should have been open-minded and ready for big changes like that, and understanding that this year is what it is. So, I'm choosing to look at it that way, and choosing to believe that, a World Series this year would be just as earned as any other year because of all the kind of crazy circumstances that we're having to go through to get to the playoffs. Now, an expanded playoffs, talking about over half the league making the playoffs. So if you get through the playoffs facing the best half of Major League Baseball and then go win a World Series, that's a big feat, and something that you should be proud of in a pandemic and a crazy year like this. So I don't feel like anyone that goes and makes a run in a World Series and eventually wins it should feel like they didn't earn it, because it's such an extraordinary year that, if anything, maybe you earned it a little bit more.
Thank you.
We have one final question from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, Ross. Just given kind of the bad blood between the teams now and just everything that's been said on both sides for the last, since the beginning of the year, I'm just curious, as a Texas guy, like, what it's been like kind of being in the middle of it. Your family in Houston, you mentioned. I'm sure a lot of friends and family with, positions on all of it. I'm just kind of curious, as a Texas guy, what it's been like for you.
Yeah, when the punishment came down on the Astros in the offseason, that was, a good day for me as far as baseball, but also a good day for me as a Texan, because I was kind of battling with friends and family this whole time and didn't necessarily understand maybe what the Astros were doing and how kind of crossing the line they were. And then for the sanctions to come down like they did, I feel like it opened their eyes. A lot of friends and family texted me like, I apologize, I didn't understand, or whatever. So like, that was kind of a good, like, eye-opening moment where, kind of cleared the air between myself and some friends. And from there, obviously you're disappointed because you are a Texan, and I grew up both a Rangers and an Astros fan. So for it to go down, because they did it the right way, right? They basically died for years. You got first-round picks. They lost their fan base. You could come to an Astro game for $3. And they built up the right way, and they made some good trades for Verlanders and the Coles and whoever, and they go win a World Series. And, like, that's cool. They did it the right way, and then for it to come down like that is disappointing. So definitely, as a Texan, you feel it probably a little bit more than most.
Thanks, man.